Hey y'all, Dr. G here. In this video we're going to look at really the last big algebra component that we need for this class and that you need to succeed in chemistry. And that's the idea of log functions. I know in algebra you probably went pretty deep into logs and did some interesting conversions and interesting math with them. As it turns out, we only need kind of the simplest versions. So we very commonly use log base 10 or log base e, which you might have learned as natural log. Okay, in this video, I'm not even going to get into natural log. I'm just going to focus on the most basic log function, and that's log base 10. Okay, so the log of some value, let's say log of x, is going to be equal to some other value. It is simply a mathematical operator, a mathematical function. Okay, so we don't need to get, you don't need to get confused about it. It's just a matter of using your calculator correctly. Okay, so what I want to do is very quickly talk about how to put log functions into calculators. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see here, but I just have my smartphone, and each smartphone is going to have a calculator on it. Okay, and if you don't know, if you rotate it, then you get a scientific calculator, and you really need that. Okay, so you need a scientific calculator to be able to do log functions. With at least the iPhone calculator, put in a value, put in 2, and click the log base 10 button. Okay, for me it is right next to the digits pad. And when you do that, if you put in a value of 2 for x, so in this case our x value is going to be 2, taking the log of that, we get a value of 0.301. Do that in your calculator. See if you get 0.301 as the answer for the log of 2. If you don't, then you may need to put it in where you click the log button first and then put in a value of 2. And that's going to be if you have like a graphing calculator, like a TI-85 or TI-87. In that case, you're going to need to put it in log 2 equals, and you'll get 0.301. Figure out your calculator. Okay? Once you go through this, it really kind of becomes pretty straightforward. We're going to go through and do several of these. I just want to make sure that you're getting the same numbers. If you put in 3 for a log, you're going to get 0.477. If you put in 4 for the value of log, you're going to get 0.602. If you put in a value of 5, you should get 0.699. It's not especially tricky. If you go all the way up and try to go all the way up to a value of 10, you're going to see the log of 10 is 1. If you put in a log of 100, it's 2. A log of 1,000 is 3. Right? So in many ways, hopefully what you can kind of see here is that the number of zeros is the value for y. Okay? As you're working with factors of 10. Okay, that's what log base 10 means, and we don't really need to get into anything more complicated about it other than if you can put it in your calculator, then you're good. Okay, what happens if we do numbers smaller than 1? So if you put in 0.5 into your calculator, right, so if your value of x is 0.5, what you're going to see, the log of that is negative 0.301. And the reason this is going to be the case is that 0.5 is actually 1/2, 1 over 2. So if a value of 2 has a log of 0.301, a value of 1 over 2, or 0.5, is negative 0.301. 1/3 is negative 0.477. 1/5 is negative 0.699. 1/10, or 0.1, is a value of negative 1. 1 over 100 is a value of negative 2. right? So this trend continues, So, determining the value of a log of something is really straightforward. The other thing you need to be able to do is to invert the log. So if I tell you, right, so if you know y and you want to figure out x, okay, the trick to this is that recognizing that to get rid of log, you take both sides to the power of 10. So 10 to the power of y is going to be equal to x. Okay, and that actually makes solving for x really, really easy. If you know that y is equal to 10, then x is 10 to the power of 10, or 100. If you know that your value of x is -1, so your value of y is -1, then this is going to be 10 to the negative first, or this is going to be 1/10. Okay? Again, practice in your calculator. Put in the log of 2. You should end up with a value of 0.301. When you invert that log, take 10 to the power of 0.301, you need to end up with 2. That's all there is to log functions in this class. Being able to put those values in and then invert it, and if you can do it now, you can do it later in the class when it matters.